the money, but ultimately what we want is to feel good. How many of you work with, or not work with, but deal with on a regular basis difficult people? How many of you do? All right. Okay, so those of you that didn't raise your hand, you probably are those difficult people. That's important to know as we get started going into this. But I think it's pretty safe to say, because most hands went up, I think it's pretty safe to say that most of us have to deal with difficult people or difficult situations. We blame every single thing or every single person outside of ourselves for what we're getting. And we spend a lot of our time being super frustrated and, for lack of a better word, unhappy. Frustrated, unhappy, stuck, right? Because we're all of our attention here. The power for you to actually do something about an event or a situation that you're not happy with is to focus on your heart. We only have control over two things in our lives. It's true. We only have control over two things: our thoughts and our behaviors. When I discovered that I really can't control, and I don't have to focus anymore on trying to get the other person to change or to act the way that I think that they should act, because that's where I was spending all my energy, is there, focusing on, God, why can't they just do what I want them to do? Why can't they act the way I want them to act? How can they be so mean to me? How can I let them? How can I let them? And it changes everything. Because now you can start to do something about it. Scathing email. It was so bad. It was so long. It was long. It was really long. And it wasn't nice. And I'm sitting there, and I'm assuming some of you, most of you in here can empathize with that kind of a situation where somebody's full on attacking who you are, right? So I'm just mad. I'm just reading this, and I can feel my blood boiling, and I'm about to freak out. Totally justified, right? I'm totally justified to fire back an equally scathing email. If I was to ask most of you in the room, they're like, yeah, totally justified. She was a jerk. Get her back, right? And I was ready to do it. I sat down at the computer and I was ready to just let her have it. She was going to get it good in this moment. And I paused. And it wasn't a long pause. It was a couple seconds. I paused long enough to remember this that I had learned and to focus on what I wanted. Focus on the outcome that I wanted of this particular situation rather than focus on her and the email that I just got. So when I started focusing on the outcome that I wanted, I was able to respond in a way that didn't guarantee me a particular outcome, but it was going to lend to a more favorable outcome. Why? Because ultimately, and this is important, this is key, and I'll go back to that in a few minutes. Ultimately, that scathing email that I had created in my head before, the way that I was going to react, it's not who I want to be. It's not who I want to be. It doesn't get me closer to not only what I want in that situation, it doesn't get me closer to who I want to be as a human being. So if you can, to get yourself to a place that you're responding and reacting to people and beings in a way that's going to not only get you closer to what you want, but to get you closer to the person you want to be, you're going to make a lot less mistakes. You're going to make a lot less mistakes. You're going to have better relationships with people, and you're going to feel better about it when you're constantly coming from a place of, who do I want to be? This is if you grew up in a relatively positive environment. You were told the word no, or what you couldn't do 140,000 times. 140,000 times. When you're born, when you're brand new to the world, it's like you're a brand new computer. No, with no software, no programs installed on it yet. Brand new computer, okay? And then what's happening is what gets installed comes from your environment. The people in your environment, the things you're experiencing, the things that you're told. And the problem is when you're a child, you don't have a choice. filtering system of this one's true and this one's not true. This one will help me, this one's going to hurt me. This one's limiting, this one's going to lift me up, right? We don't filter. It just comes in. And it's coming in from parents, grandparents, teachers, friends on the playground, right? And it's stored here. It just starts coming in, and it's stored in our subconscious. And it becomes our operating system. And the reason why this is important to know is because that's what's getting you through your days. That's the 97% of your autopilot. From the time that we get up in the morning, we're doing things like you get out of bed, you put one foot on the floor, and you put another foot on the floor. You're not thinking about that. You're not thinking, oh, I got to put one foot and then the next one, right? You're not. You're not thinking about walking the same way that you had to think about walking when you were a year old, a year and a half old. We had to make a conscious balance, one foot in front of the other, when we were a year and 2 years old, right? We don't do that today. You're not concentrating on chewing your food, digesting your food. You're not even really concentrating on brushing your teeth. You're just doing it. You don't even have to be present a lot of the times when you're in your car driving. You don't even have to be fully present. How many of you have gotten in your car in the morning, you pull out of your driveway, start zoning out on some thought, and 15 minutes later you're pulling into the parking lot. You don't even know how you got there. You're just like, I don't even remember the trip either. Autopilot. But I'm not telling you that so that you feel helpless. I'm telling you that to make you aware of this huge asset that you have within you, that we all have within us, to get us moving more towards where we want to be. We just have to figure out how to access that so that it's working for us instead of against us. And that's what I'm going to tell you to do. What happens if I walk up to you and do this? What are you going to do? Why'd you do that? To be polite, and it's because it's programmed. It's expected to do that. You think about it, instant. He put his hand out instantly. You go to another country and you stick your hand out, you could get it cut off. At the very least, they're going to look at you like you're out of your mind. Their cultural programming is different. They operate on different programs. That's powerful, what I just showed you there, because it gives you an illustration of how strong our programs are that we don't have to think about. That awareness alone is going to instantly start to cause some shifts in your life, just by being aware. You have to take inventory of your environment. People and things. This can be hard for a lot of people, because what that means is you have to start looking around, depending on what it is that you want out of life and the type of person that you want to be. You have to start looking around at the people and things in your life that are either going to promote you getting closer to what you want, or if they're taking you, keeping you from it. Think about a fish. If a fish is sick, do you work on the fish? You clean the water. You clean the water. You get rid of the murky water, and that fish thrives, because you put it in an environment that is benefiting him instead of making him sick. It's the same thing with us. This is what I'm telling you today. You are the carpenter of your own house. You are. So build it with good stuff. You can do that. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how young you are. You can do it today. You can.